Brother Wendell, how are you today, sir?
I am not bad at all,
I
Um,
wonder what you have in store for us because I know
well,
there's so many things happening.
the Integrity Commission has come back to the fore once again,
Yes.
so we need to make a comment on it.
I have
Um,
strong comments on that institution too.
yes. Well, as part of our democracy, which is set out partially in written word in our constitution, you have to
Right.
have some amount of what we call integrity in the system. In other words, lack of corruption, transparency, and so forth,
I see you're learning a
especially
new language
among
there,
public
Wendell.
officers.
You're learning a new
Mhm.
language. That those
Well,
words sounds very
that,
unfamiliar. Integrity on what else?
that yes, that integrity, accountability,
Accountability. I wonder what is that?
yes, and transparency.
Oh no, that was
So,
transparent. By the way, let me stop you right there. Because I've
yeah,
been so well tutored by you in terms of making new laws, I've been on that campaign too about you must ensure that the citizens be a part of the process of discussing these laws. So you can rest assured when you come off here, Vernon has taken that fight to everybody.
yeah. So what happens is that we are a member of the community of democratic countries where anti-corruption, transparency, and accountability is a
Yes.
common denominator. So many of these organizations, international organizations, we have joined them and have submitted ourselves as a country and a people to those precepts of accountability, transparency, and anti-corruption practices. So we have passed a law by our legislature, members of parliament, that sets out the framework for anti-corruption among public officers. And the law is there passed by the members of parliament, senators who are also part of the legislative process. And that is the law. Then you have the commission that is set up by the law, who are carrying out the law given to them by the parliamentarians. But we hear sounds from the parliament from time to time against what the Integrity Commission is doing. And there is a contest, it seems, that is developing as to whether the commission, that is the Integrity Commission, has sufficient integrity in what they are doing, and if they are doing things contrary to the law. So that kind of contest is apparently happening because you have statements coming out of Parliament from the parliamentarians criticizing how the Integrity Commission, conducts its activities according to the law. And the commission is saying, well, we are only following the law that you passed.
And by the way,
So there,
it's coming from people like myself and others too. I have major concerns. While I think it's important, I would love to see that body be more empowered to look at corruption nationally. And the police force and the rest of them, you just hand it to them and they deal with it. I have some concerns. For example, when you go and you mention that you're investigating 5 or 6 members of parliament, that doesn't help the process. It don't cause no political sus and gossip and so on. So I have some major concerns as to how it is set up and how it is functioning now.
yeah, but remember now, it is the
Mm.
parliamentarians who passed the law, not the Integrity Commission personnel
Yeah, man. So
or
it needs to be
staff.
changed. It needs to be changed. You should, to
Yes.
me, you report on the findings, report that you are investigating. I must admit, I have strong. And when you make comments, it doesn't matter whether it's parliamentarians or anybody. When you make comments that can implicate a number of persons, the same way when we have, what they call it now, they don't use wanted again. The person of concern. No, if you hear that Vernon is a person of what? Interest, I must say. The first thing everybody assume, Vernon and Tifa commit some crime. So we have to move away from that. I don't like it at all. Whether the law allows it, I don't like it. It's not working. Another thing I don't like also is the same way I hear somebody from the Caribbean Court of Justice making comments about who should judge. I think judges need to stick to their jobs and do not get involved in what I call political discussions. The moment you do that, same thing with the chairman of the Integrity Commission. The moment he went to Parliament and made certain comments, he aggravated the situation in causing some people on one side to say, oh, in against us. It is better to report on what you're doing and make all your comments about who need to see that psychiatrist and, who drinking which water. No, this don't help at all. And I thought that a man who has been so, well trained in legal things. For example, when I listen to you, you just stick to the law. So these comments, for example, you should function just like any judge because comments that you make, he made another comment recently about Delroy Chuck, that in another country, what should happen. And when I check out everything, I realized Delroy Chuck said no such thing. You should leave such general comments to the public and stick to your work. That's my opinion.
Yes, but there are two different things here,
Yes.
One is how the work is done.
Right.
You may not like the manner of how the work is done. The question is it within the law or not? So there is the two things operating.
Right.
One, whether the Integrity Commission is carrying out the law, the letter of the law, as to how they do it. Is it in a manner that is not appropriate, but within the law?
Mm-hmm.
That's a different kettle of fish.
Right.
So the comments of the chairman might not be appropriate and recommended.
Mm-hmm. But it's legal.
Yes, he's operating within the law in terms of the work that he's doing. Not his commentary. His commentary is by the way, which.
But then, we need to understand that not everything is coded in the law. Tradition and experience, and I say what? Experience what increases with wisdom or whatever it is. So you should be guided by the norms of the society and what is good judgment, which sometimes is not in the law. Sometimes some things, as my brother says, some things are good for talk.
Yeah, but you see, when we are making our pushback, we have to make a distinction when it comes to legal matters, whether the person is operating within the law or is operating in the law, but in a manner that is not appropriate, but not unlawful.
Right. That's my position. I'm not saying it's unlawful, I'm just saying it's not appropriate. Because if I say to everybody, good morning, and they really don't think I mean it, that I haven't done anything wrong, and they'll be turned off, it's better that shut my mouth and don't say anything. Because they say, didn't Vernon know wish me good morning? Only I say something for sake. That's my point.
Yeah. So I am saying the better way to do it is to review the law.
Right.
Because that is the only way forward, to review the law, to amend it, and in the process, let us consult the citizens as to what type of Integrity Commission laws they want. For example,
but Wendel, you're living in hope, and we're all going to die in despair. You start singing that song.
It is our business. It's our business.
You could have fooled me. You've been singing that song. I take it up. Whenever tenor, soprano, whatever, I don't know what me sing, but I'm singing it too, but they're not listening. And it seems to me that some people will not listen until they feel.
Well, let's see how it goes. For example, this matter of the public servant.
Yes.
Reporting his income and his assets.
Yes.
And the law says, laws passed by the same parliamentary person say you must also report your income of your spouse and your children. Now, who put that in the law? It is the parliamentarians whenever passing the law,
Yes.
They put it in
that
there.
Means they were not thinking. Because here what I said, Wendell, I know why they put it in, But one has to be careful, because if you put it for the wife, it means therefore you're targeting those who are married. What about the girlfriend and the boyfriend and the associate and the the sister and the third and the fourth cousin or the friend. All of these people can be used to hide wealth. And I think you have to find some other means of finding how the money is moving. You might have to just look at that person independently because money can be transferred to anyone. So that is one I have a problem with. I do have a problem because if the wife decides, say, I mean, like I have never known the style of my wife. You can't, who are you going to force? Who are you going to lock up? Who are you going to persecute? The wife said, no, I'll tell you. What are you going to do?
But
And,
but but there is procedure to deal with that. If you have difficulty declaring what is required,
yeah.
you put that in your submission that
Mm,
my wife is refusing or I don't have that information and so forth. So
right.
there are provisions to deal with those things. But we know that, as you have said, assets and income are hidden among relatives and friends.
And
So it
friends
is
and business associates.
right. So it is a standard procedure international wise when you are reporting to ask for connected persons to also report. But we know
I
in
don't
reality,
support it. I must say I don't. But it's international that I don't support it. I say
no,
we
no,
must find
no,
the
no.
means and ways.
But remember now, if you are aware that person secrete wealth,
Mhm.
ill-begotten wealth amongst friends, near and far, and family members, it would be wise of you to make that requirement. And if you have a problem submitting that information, you indicate it. it, it
And
is
guess what? When everybody indicates it now, then you're back at square one. So my point, if you suspect somebody has gotten wealth illegally, that person must also be investigated. Simple as that.
no, no. But what I am saying, if you have difficulty providing information regarding loved ones or near friends and
Yes.
associates, you indicate it.
But
It
I'm
is now
saying,
up to the commission
yes.
to seek other methods. And there are other methods of doing the tracking and the investigation.
I know, and all I'm saying, I love to see the law change. So we don't wait on you. As a matter of fact, I tell you quite bluntly, this whole idea of you making a post to indict yourself, I don't support it at all. And that is why people be very public, very conservative. They have their personality, they don't want somebody to know. To be requiring all public servants to report their business, to me, I am uncomfortable with it. I want the state to find out or people to report them and then investigate them. And I tell you quite bluntly, the thousands of persons in the in the public sector, they do not have time to go through all those files. Therefore, what will happen? We will target certain persons. I know that as a fact. You have thousands of civil servants. That's why they have to increase the threshold. And it don't make sense increasing the threshold because somebody can be making $1 million and a thief the money same way. It's illogical. Mr. Wilkins,
Yes.
let me tell you where this thinking is coming from, and it's all over. It comes from perception. We feel that because two people are married, they're going to be in collusion, and not necessarily so. That's why we don't like to have wife and husband working at the same place, and there are challenges. But I will tell you, the world has moved to the extent where a woman might have a woman friend in the organization, and they function just like wife and husband. Same thing with the man them. I'm not au fait with the law. I want to glance at it as a matter of fact. How do you deal with common law? How do you deal with a man who has another man as a companion? The law doesn't recognize that at all. So it seems to me we are discriminating against those who man marries a woman or vice versa. And then the other relationships, they get away. How does the law deals with that?
Well, I don't think the intention of the law, was to capture every possible person who may be involved in corrupt practices. It is really to look at the main player, the main person on stage, and to see if there can be any connection with that person
And my
where
point
there
is that
might be
the main
secreting
player
of
can be,
the assets.
yeah.
So there's no intention to put everybody in the spotlight because other mechanisms of intelligence gathering has to be used.
And my point, if I can tell you,
But
since the other mechanism, use that. Do not target somebody because they're married and it's a woman to a man or a man to a woman. It is unfair. So what we are doing,
yeah,
this,
but what we're saying is
yes.
not so much your commentary, but are we going to change the law according to what the people say?
Yes,
So
man, we
there's a
need to change
process
it.
for that, you know.
Yeah, man, we
You
need to
know,
change it.
if you have bad law, it don't
Mhm.
make sense you sit and keep complaining about it in parliament or out of parliament. You get the same parliamentarians who made the bad law to go and change it.
And that is
And
what I'm
they
on now because I've been blasting them, I've been sending notes to them and so on. You're absolutely right. We need to change it because I think it's unwise, for example, to be asking people to give you information. And if they don't give you information, which might be an error, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. They can be prosecuted for hiding information. I'm very uncomfortable with that because you cannot force a man to go to court and testify against himself. So why are you asking people to give information which can be held against them? It is wrong, very, very wrong. And there are other ways we can deal with it. We can deal with the corruption in other ways. Now, I will tell you, you're going to let 10, 20 years pass, and you probably never hear of any politician being charged and convicted. What they keep charging them for is giving a report later or something like that. It's bureaucratic, man. We need too much bureaucracy, Wendell, man. We need to just, if it's
well
just,
well put it this way.
mm,
There are systems in a nation of
mm,
accountability and transparency.
yes.
And if you go and have a profession in those systems, you have to be part of the accountability and transparency framework.
You have to ask
So
according to the
this is
law, but I'm saying the law needs to be
yes,
changed. It needs to be changed.
yes. So
So,
if
yeah,
citizens come together and say we don't want that kind of reporting, and we are instructing our members of parliament not to so pass a law of that nature, then that is what should be done.
and that is what we need to have. And you cannot have the chairman reporting and giving information like 6 people or 7 people are being investigated. No, it's wrong. Because what you're doing, you're undermining the whole parliament rather than spearfishing and dealing with those who are corrupt. You can't say there are 6 members. So everybody will say, no, it's you. No, it's you. I said, no, it wasn't me. You can't have that. And all so far has been created this speculation and providing fodder for political talk.
Yes, but remember now, the chairman and the members of the commission and the staff have nothing to do with this gag law. You know, it is coming out of parliament. So that is where we must go
No, man, I
to
know. I'm
correction
liberated.
of the law.
By the way, I'm not looking to defend one or the other. I'm just telling you. And by the way, I'm getting lots of feedback from people. I put up a post the other day, and in a matter of 3 days, nearly 6,000 persons. And I can tell you, majority of them, they are the majority, the overwhelming majority, agree the points, which is what I'm making up. Because what I tend to do, I tend to get the feeling of what people are saying. It's not like a poll, not scientifically done. But the way the whole thing is set up, and I believe that it's set up that way because the people don't understand the same way of becoming a republic. The people they don't do civics in school. They're not so tuned to these things. So when they come and tell people that you're going to become a republic, to them is what are you talking about?
Well, we have a legislative process that must be engaged if there's dissatisfaction in the law. So instead of criticizing and attacking the staff of the commission, what we need to do is to review the law as quickly as possible. Laws are passed within a week in Jamaica when needed, to be passed so quickly.
I
So we
know,
can go into it.
I
We
know.
can go into it and review it instead of having these everlasting discussions in Parliament and out of Parliament about what is being done.
But you have to
I
understand
think
that Parliament only interested is campaign, is election year now. So they're only
mm,
interested in campaign as to who can get the highest political points. I want the
yeah.
system changed. And that is why I want them to come back to the people, discuss it with the people, and hear what the people think. And everything you vote on party basis. No man, there are some things you need to vote based on how your intelligence directs you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So let us call out then for the citizens along with the parliamentarians who are making the law to expedite this reform process. of the Integrity Commission Act. So we can have a law that is more acceptable to the people and to the parliamentarians.
But here the joke now,
And we
Wendell.
apply best practice in doing that.
But you know what the problem is now? We did not
Yeah,
discuss it with the people first. We come up with the law, and then the people say, but if you make the law, then when you want to
that
change,
is it.
you know what the people now saying? It's because you are guilty why you want it to be changed.
That is the problem.
So
That
that
is the
also
problem.
creates, you see, let me tell you, Wendell, I'm glad the way I was brought up in. I'm brought up to think logically. Probably that's why I'm still poor. So
Yeah.
Wendell, I strong this morning on this one because I think we just waste time and chat about corruption and we don't have anybody being held accountable. Come on, man, we need to do something. Look at the roads, them. To me, I don't know if it's corruption. I have to be very careful. I don't know why you have to caution me today. But if you fix road today, you tell me say next 3, 4 weeks, let the rain fall and then dig up back at that again. I would love to know if that is that major corruption. I would love to know what millions gone down the drain. When you have schools not being audited and the financial statement not being published, then that's lack of transparency. I need to know. I need to ask you this. Them schools there? Oh boy. Today I had this hot wedding. Time is
Yes.
on us. Any final point you want to make?
Yes, we have to change the law if we are dissatisfied with it. And those who are dissatisfied, there's always an opening in the courts to challenge it. The Prime Minister has taken that route, although he was a lawmaker that made the law. But that is another way of challenging
Right,
what you
right.
say is bad law. So let us work the process then in that way.
And then politically, it's not good for him either because they're going to say, how come you're a lawmaker, you're challenging? But as I said to people, I guess he has a right. He's a citizen just like us. So the same way
Yes,
we
yes,
can lock
like
him up.
everybody
He
else.
has
Right.
a... But the average man not going to understand that. Wendell,
Yeah.
boy, it's
Thank
something
you for the
I'm...
opportunity.
Yeah, man. This is something
Take
I'm
care.
struggling. But the discussion, more people, I hope there are more people. Well, I'm making sure that I send these things out, Wendell, so I can tell the people are talking more and more. Wendell
Yes.
Wickles, have a
Take
wonderful
care.
day, my
All
friend.
the
Till
best.
next week.
Good day.